Welcome back to Tempting Fate Tours. In our last video about the Morris Minor Traveler, we had retrieved the car from the garage it had sat in since 1968 and managed to get it running. Unfortunately, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
People said that the mid-rail would smoke, and it didn't the first time.
With John occupied with other matters, I flew back out to California to try and get the car on the road, running and driving.
That's all I got.
And bonus points, get it inspected so it could be registered and retain its original black and yellow California plates. First things first, let's finish the engine. We'll install a new water pump, which I had ordered from Australia, new thermostat housing, and reinstall the radiator. I was very thankful that as I had taken everything apart, I had filmed not just for the purpose of this project, but also to look back and make sure I put everything back together the way it came apart. And it's got to go back in there, so everything has to come apart again. I had ordered up new heater hoses, but then I thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to find out the hard way that the heater core leaks. And I just ran a line directly from the valve at the back of the head to the base of the radiator where it goes back out. I did save, however, the often missing caution tag. Once I had the transmission tunnel off, it was really obvious that the clutch mechanism is super wobbly. These cars have a clutch pedal attached to a shaft attached with a bushing and a spring, and there's a whole bunch of different pieces. All through this project, I kept thinking to myself,
I'm finding lots of problems for future me.
That's all right. I can fix that once the car is home, and we'll be able to get it done before our trip. Spoiler alert, most of it didn't happen. In a recurring theme for this project, I decided to just leave it and we'll start on a different part of what needs to be done. Got the water pump fitted, put a new thermostat in, new thermostat housing, and put the radiator in, new cooling lines, or new radiator hoses. Got the bypass on for the heater, fill everything up with coolant, and the brand new thermostat housing is leaking. Of course it is. Well, we can deal with that later. Hey, we need a fuel tank. The right thing, of course, would be to take the old fuel tank out, have it boiled out by a radiator shop, and then put it back in. But of course, I don't have time for that. I'm on the wrong side of the country. West Marine came to the rescue. We have a 3-gallon plastic outboard motor tank into the fuel pump. It isn't pretty, but it works, and besides, we're not going to use this for any extended period of time. We just got to get it onto a transporter, get it out to the DMV. Number 533 of items we're going to fix when we get home. New fuel line, fuel bowl gasket, fiber washers for the fuel line, reroute it the way it should come, put the generator back on the car. I decided the core plugs are just going to have to wait. We can fix them when we get home. And while I was at it, I put a new oil pressure sender on it so that the oil light would turn off when we had oil pressure. At this point, it's been a slog, but we're ready to start the car. I'm pretty exciting. We go to start the car and the choke cable breaks. Zip tie comes to the rescue, turn the key, pull the starter button, and holy cow, car runs again. The oil light is out, the ignition light is out, the cooling system is actually cooling. And it's at this point that I realize just how much of a slog this has been and how nice it is to have the car running and doing everything it's supposed to be doing. And so, hey, I hop in the Golf, drive up to the DMV, and figure out what I need for paperwork to get this car registered so we can keep the black plates. The car is driving though, and stopping and running very, very well. And I noticed that the old cap and wires are really iffy, so I swap in the Riley's cap and wires, which I had brought with me. Doesn't run. So I swapped the original ones back in. Then I look at it and realize, the order of the wires is just slightly off between the two cars. I switch the order, it's running again. Hey, good to go. Then take it for its first run around the neighborhood, and we definitely have an exhaust leak. We have a muffler that was shot in the 60s. That's gonna have to get fixed when we get it home. yet another thing that needs to get fixed when we get home. I now have a vehicle moving permit, so hop in the car, drive it to the DMV. All of my hope is dashed, as he says it, because it's just too old for him to be able to do the inspection. So reach out to the CHP and make an appointment.